Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing 25 tips for first-time cruisers. And so we're going to jump right in. The first tip is to keep checking the prices right up until you cruise.
Yes, because if you pay for your cruise in full when you first book it, the prices do change. And oftentimes, I know people think that the price goes up the closer you get. It's not like airfare. On cruise ships, if they haven't sold enough rooms, that price is going to go down, and you don't want to have paid for your cruise in full at this price when it's going to go down by several $100s later on.
Yeah, so sometimes they'll let you pay for a deposit, $100, $500. If you can get that $100 deposit, it's great, because then if the cruise drops by $500 and you've only paid a $100 deposit, even if you lose that deposit, you still save $400.
Exactly.
Tip number 2 is if you are worried about seasickness, get a balcony cabin.
Yes, and that is something that we do regularly because I get seasick quite often.
She does.
But I love going on cruises. So the balcony cabin is not really that much more. It really is completely worth it. Plus, you get an amazing view. You get someplace to sit privately outside. And it really does help to have that fresh air when you need it, when you're feeling sick.
Yeah. If you're feeling sick, you don't want to have to go up on deck.
Exactly. That's the last thing that I want to do.
Last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
So tip number 3 is to get to port one day early.
Ooh, for sure. I don't have the confidence in transportation as a whole to get me to where I'm going on time every single time I'm going. So I don't know how people try to cut it close and arrive the day. But I mean, you know, with the way travel and transportation is today, I mean, flights get canceled or changed all the time. If you're arriving the same day, generally you're leaving within hours of arrival. So you have to get there and get checked in. It's really not the smartest thing to do to arrive the same day.
Tip 4, find parking outside the port for less money. This is something that we always try to do. And hotels are a great place. If you're going to come in a day early, go online, do a little cruise search for hotels in your port city, and look for ones that offer a cruise package, because they will let you, for one price, get your one-night hotel and a week's worth of parking at their parking lot, and it's usually not that much more. So it's a great deal.
We just had that happen recently, and we booked a hotel in where was it? In Charleston, and the hotel let us park for free for the entire week while we were gone.
Yeah, and then you can just take an Uber, or sometimes they have a hotel shuttle right to the port. So, tip number 5: complete your check-in online before getting to the port. You do need to go through that. It will save you a ton of time.
So much time.
They've really streamlined the check-in process these days. So if you've done that, you're just going to breeze through check-in, and it's going to make your day so much better.
You don't have to keep track of all your paperwork and make sure you put it away again. It's already been done.
Tip 6 is to pack essentials like your medications, anything you really need that day, in a carry-on bag, because on most ships, not all, they will take your bags and deliver them to your room for you, but they're not going to get there till several hours later. We've had them be even up until after dinner.
Yes.
Sometimes they've taken that long.
Yep.
And there's always a chance they could lose it. Now, that's unlikely because it's right there at the port. But don't put something you absolutely need in your suitcase.
Yep.
Keep it in a check bag.
Absolutely.
Tip number 7, bring seasickness medicine or the wristbands with you. Don't try to get them on the ship.
Yes, because what will happen is, maybe not everybody is sick when they get on there, but if bad weather hits and it starts to get a little shaky, people are going to run over to the store and buy up all the stuff. And if you need it and you wait until then to get it, you're out of luck.
And even if you do get it, it's going to be 3 times the price you would have bought it at home.
Yeah.
Tip number 8 is be prepared. On the first day, you'll need to attend a safety lifeboat drill.
That's right. And that's important, and that is required on every single cruise. And actually, the longer ones, you have to do it every week.
Yeah, you have to do it several times. So that's just something to know and just to be prepared. If you're taking kids with you on the cruise, sometimes that can be a shock to them, but they do need to go also.
Yes.
So just prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, and for the kids, children under a certain age, they'll actually get a special wristband for your muster area.
Tip number 9 is to decide on a drink package before you get on board.
That's right. If you wait till after and, you've already spent a day drinking and realized, oh, I should have gotten the drink package. Well, guess what? You just spent a whole day's worth of drinks, money, and then on top of that, you're going to pay for the drink package. So you're going to save a little bit of money the rest of the days, but you've already overpaid for a day.
Yeah.
And likely, you're going to be able to get a deal on it, a little bit of a discount if you buy it before you get on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Tip 10 is to print all your documents out before you head to the port and keep them in your carry-on.
Yes.
You will need a couple documents to get through security, to get into the secure area, and it's just good to have those out. You don't want to be the person that doesn't have them and holding up the line or having to, you just want to get through quickly. So print out all your documents. Yeah. Moving on to tip 11 is to make sure if you're doing a DIY shore excursion where you're just going off on your own, that you have plenty of time to get back to the ship before it leaves. Not something you want to risk.
That's right. You want to have a big window of several hours, not minutes, from when you're supposed to board the ship, because you never know what could happen. And again, if you're in a foreign country, transportation can break down, all that kind of stuff, so you have to be careful. Tip
12 goes along with that, is that if your excursion is difficult transportation-wise, just use the ship's shore excursion. This can happen several times where if you're in, kind of an odd place or a place that's hard to get around in, like Israel or Egypt or something
Jordan.
like this, it's not going to be a situation where you're going to be able to easily get reliable transportation back, and it's maybe a 3 to 4 hour drive to where you're going. Just use the ship's transportation on that, because you don't want to risk that, and then you're in a really difficult place to get yourself to the next place from.
Yeah, and their service is insured and guaranteed. They'll take care of you. So,
Tip 13 is to understand that tips will be added to your onboard account at the end of your cruise.
That's right. So don't be shocked when you start seeing those numbers add up. It is per person, per room. So just keep that in mind, that will be added on there.
Yeah. So, our last cruise, they didn't put it on. They don't label it as tips. They label it as service charge every day, and they put 2 of them on, one for each of us every day. And so we looked at our onboard account, and there were 42 service charges, and I was like, how many drinks did we have that we don't remember? So we asked them, and they said, oh, that's just the tips. So they don't label it as tips. They may label it as something else. Yeah. But tip 14 is to bring cash, because the ATM could be broken, difficult to access, hard to get money, and in a lot of ports, you just need to have cash.
And a lot of ports will take American dollars, so you're going to want you'll want your U.S. cash anyways, USD. So just make sure that you bring it with you.
Tip 15, and if you've seen some other videos, you're gonna see that a lot of them say that room service is free. No longer the case. Most ships are charging for room service, so be aware of that. That if you're gonna have room service, they're gonna charge you a delivery fee.
It's not a big charge. Like, they don't charge a la carte, but they will charge you a delivery fee and a service charge on top of it. So the tip.
Tip 16 is that you can order multiple entrees or desserts or sides at the main dining room.
That's right. If you've ordered something and you don't like it, just tell them you want something else and get something else off the menu. Or if you can't decide, honestly, the wait staff is very friendly, very helpful, and if you can't make up your mind, they're more than happy to bring you 2 entrees and you can try them. You don't have to eat everything, and we're not encouraging you to be wasteful, but if you want to try it, then try it. This is a good time to do that.
Tip 17 is to keep track of the ship's time by reading the daily bulletin or checking the time on the TV screen.
Boy, is that ever important, because our watches don't always catch up and our phones don't always catch up, especially if you have your phone on airplane mode. it's not going to always reset whenever you're in a new time zone, especially if you're going day to day to a different time zone. So always figure out what that time is on the ship. That's the time that counts.
Tip 18 is that if you have a port that is having a tender to take you to shore, those are much more likely to be delayed or skipped due to bad weather.
Yes, and we actually just had that happen to us recently. Weather was bad in the Bahamas. It was too windy for us to go to the one port, so they just took us to a different port, and we went on as usual, where they could actually dock the boat instead of using the tender.
Tip 19, if you're not getting the drink package, check if your cruise line will allow you to bring a 12-pack of soda on board. A lot of them do, and you'll see a lot of people bringing them on, so that's a good way to save some money, because the drinks can be, several dollars per drink. So
yeah, and you can actually also bring a bottle of wine with you, but they do charge you a fee if you bring it to the restaurant and have them serve it there.
Tip 20 is download the app for your cruise line. Most of the cruise lines now have their own app, and they're actually quite useful. You would think maybe they wouldn't be, but you can get the restaurant menus.
Yes.
You can find out the ship time usually on there, which is good. You can find out what's going on that day, the entertainment, what shows are happening, even make reservations.
Yep,
that's true. So they're very useful.
Very.
Tip 21 is to put your phone in airplane mode right when you get on board.
Oh my goodness, yeah, definitely. You don't want to come home to thousands and thousands of dollars worth of charges. The ship is not considered the U.S., so if you're at sea, those charges are even higher than in foreign countries.
Tip 22 is to read up on your particular boat what activities are going to cost more. A cruise is not just everything is free. So some things that could cost more would be spa services, any type of beauty treatment.
Yeah.
Anything like the newer ships have more charges, like
recreation things,
go-kart tracks,
water park area.
Sometimes those are. It just depends on the ship, but check out what is going to cost more, and then you won't be surprised when you get on board and you have to do things. Anything that's kind of out of the ordinary, like a laser tag, go-kart track, that type of thing, those are usually going to be extra fees.
Yeah.
23 is if you like sleeping in, plan on doing some shore excursions on your own.
Yes. The shore excursions, regardless of how long the shore excursion is, long or short, they're all still going to leave early in the morning. So if this is your vacation and you want to sleep in, you might not want to do a bunch of shore excursions because you're going to get up really early every day. I was looking at a shore excursion on our last cruise, and it was a trip to the beach, and it left at 7 a.m., and they came back at 11. Yeah.
And we were there in port till 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't I just sleep in till 10 and go to the beach at 11 and come back at 3 on my own with a taxi cab? So the shore excursions, for some reason, almost always leave ridiculously early, and sometimes unnecessarily so. So keep that in mind. Number 24 is don't book a room on the level of the ship that the passengers get off the ship. So that's going to take a little bit of planning to look, but it's usually one of the lowest levels. 3 or 4, depending on how they number the ship. It could be 0 or 1. And the reason for that is on those ridiculously early shore excursions we just mentioned, they're all going to be walking down that hallway right past your room talking at 6:45 in the morning. So if you are not getting up or you're not an early person, you will be woken up by the people walking down the hall to get off the boat.
Exactly.
And that's not something you want.
No.
And the 25th and last tip is that if you have flexibility, you can wait for a last minute deal. And we see people saying not to wait because you're not going to get a better price. Those are generally travel agents saying that want to sell you something and get a commission. We're not travel agents, so we just try to find the best price. And cruise companies do discount cabins drastically in the last 3 weeks before a cruise.
Always.
So if you are not you know, you don't have to go on a cruise, but you're kind of looking and you can kind of make arrangements. Maybe you're within driving distance of the port. If you want to wait, just go online and look at the last minute cruises, because we've gotten cruises for $199 for the week.
Yep.
The other thing is, they'll start to throw in better deals. Like they'll start to include the drink packages with the lower tiered cabins, or even on the cabins that don't have a little bit of an upcharge to them. So you'll get not only a lower price, but they'll start to include more freebies with
which
your
is
cabin.
really nice.
So that's the 25 tips. We hope you enjoy your cruise. Let us know in the comments where you're going and what you'll be doing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos, and like the video if it was helpful. We will see you on the next video.